All right, so in this video, I'll be talking through the notes on page 14. And if you're doing this in class on December 4th, it might seem kind of like a random thing to throw in here. It's just the topic I wanted to review. It's something you should have seen before, but I wanted us to review it before we needed to do it for Voronoi diagrams, which is what we'll be doing shortly. So we start off with just a reminder about the Pythagorean theorem, right? If you have a right triangle, your legs are A and B, their hypotenuse we call C, and we can relate those sides by saying A squared plus B squared is equal to C squared. So what that means is over here, this is our A, this is our B. If we want to find C, well, we do A squared plus B squared is equal to C squared. That means 4 squared plus 6 squared is equal to C squared, meaning 16 plus 36 is equal to C squared. Meaning that C squared is equal to 52, or that C is equal to the square root of 52, which if we go to our graphing calculator over here, do square root 52, we get an error for some reason. Square root 52, we get 7.21. So the length of this hypotenuse is 7.21 units. All right, and why are we doing that? Well, the reason is because we're going to need to find the distance between 2 points on the coordinate plane. And this is closely related to the Pythagorean theorem. So as you can see, if we have 2 points, x1, y1, x2, y2, and we want to find the distance between them, well, we can represent that distance as the hypotenuse of a right triangle, where the legs of the right triangle are the distance on the y dimension and the distance on the x dimension. And because it is a right triangle, we know that the hypotenuse is equal to the sum of the square of the legs. So if the legs are this difference and this difference, then that difference squared plus that difference squared has to equal the distance squared, meaning that the distance is the square root of those points, of the distance on the x and the distance on the y. So let's do that with an application over here. So we're going to graph these points, and then we're going to find the distance between it. So we're going to go -1, -3. So that is right here. We're going to go 3, 0. That is right there. Once again, we're trying to find the distance between those. Well, we can see that the distance on the y, right, the y value, the kind of, if you think about 0 minus -3, the difference between those two is 3. And the distance on the x is 4, right? 3 minus -1 would be 4. So therefore, the distance between them, d, would be equal to the square root of 4 squared plus 3 squared, right? Because d squared is equal to 4 squared plus 3 squared. You just need to take the square root. That means d is equal to the square root of 16 plus 9, meaning d is the square root of 25, meaning that we know that this distance here has to be 5. All right, so you might sometimes need to do this without graphing the points. So just given the points and plug them into the formula. So that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to show you that we have these 2 points. We're not going to graph it. We don't care where they are. Our formula is powerful, and that can do it for us. So sorry about that. You're getting a sense of why I'm not in school today. So we have our first point that's located at x1, y1. And we have our second point located at x2, y2. And we have this distance formula over here. D is equal to the square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. All right, if I make those substitutions, I can get D is equal to 4 minus 0 squared, right? That's my change in x, plus 5 minus negative 7 squared. And we want to be very careful about the negative signs here. Or we have a double negative there, so we want to make sure we do it positive. That is probably the most common mistake I see with solving this type of problem. That means d is equal to the square root of 4 squared, and 5 minus negative 7 is the same as 5 plus 7. It says plus 12 squared. So d is equal to the square root of 16 plus 144. D is equal to the square root of 160, which means d is equal to 12.6.